This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Please like, share, subscribe. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? You greatly appreciate it. Come on in, you know the routine. Make yourself at home. This week, for my collection video, it's going to be my second favorite genre and television series, my first being sci-fi and fantasy, my second one being situation comedies. I grew up watching situation comedies. Actually, I grew up watching variety shows. That's back in the 70s. Tells you how old I am. Shows like Carol Burnett, Flip Wilson, the Osmonds, Donnie Marie Osmonds. They had a variety show. She's a little bit country. He's a little bit rock and roll. The Jacksons, the Jackson 5, they had a variety show. Then I kind of moved up to situation comedies like Good Times, Newhart, Three's Companies, My Three Sons, Partridge Family, Gilligan's Island, Brady Bunch, and it kind of grew from there. However, lately, probably in the past, 5 or 6 years, I can't really think of any situation comedies that off the dome that really come to mind. So, and I think TV is really lacking in that area lately. So hopefully we'll see some more good situation comedies arise soon. But this is my top 10 list of favorite situation comedies. Just like everything else is subjective. So if you have your top 10, if you have some that I missed, please add in the comments. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink, have a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. We're back at the Black Cave. Back at the Black Cave. We are back at the motherfucking Black Cave. I'm just going to jump in with the number 10 TV series comedy and Living Single. This is an American television sitcom created by Yvette Lee Bowser. It aired on Fox Network for 5 seasons from August 22nd to 1993. August 22nd, 1993 to January 1st, 1998. Starred Queen Latifah, Kim Coles, Erica Alexander, Kim Fields, T.C. Carson, John Hinton, and Mel Jackson. And in my opinion, this is the show that inspired Friends. This came out in 93. Friends came out in 94, almost a year later. Damn near the same dynamics. They just added an extra guy, and I think they might have taken away a girl. I never really watched Friends though, so it's the second season. If you know a little bit about some of the actors, Queen Latifah, famous rapper, T.C. Carlson, extremely talented singer, actor, Erica Alexander, but she got her start on Cosby. Kim Fields, she's been acting since Facts of Life. I'm not sure if she's on Good Times or not. Kim Coles started in Living Color, and Hinton was a stand-up comedian. That's season 2. We have season 3, and what's unfortunate, I really think this could have been the equivalent to Friends. They really weren't getting paid anywhere close to what they would deserve, considering how popular the show was. I believe this was part of the Thursday lineup. Martin, Living Color, New York Undercover. T.C. Carlson went to the producers, asked for more money. They're like, nope. Got rid of him. And I'm not sure he was in the last season or not. Yeah, he wasn't in the last season. They threw this guy in. It's just like, more money? I don't think so. Got rid of him, and the show just pretty much plummeted after that. But overall, fantastic show. They only had two discs for the last season, so they really cut that last season short. Number 10, Living Single. Number 9, The Jeffersons, another American sitcom television series that debuted on CBS January 18th, 1975, probably before a lot of you were actually born. And it ended July 2nd, 1985, lasting 11 seasons and a total of 253 episodes. One of the longest running sitcoms in history. Starring Isabel Sanford, Sherman Hemsley, Marla Gibbs, Roxy Roker, who happens to be Lenny Kravitz's mom, Franklin Cover, Paul Benedict, Mike Evans, who was actually one of the writers on the show, or created on the show, Bernadette Talbert, Zara Sully, Damon Evans, and Jay Hummer. And so many seasons, they doubled them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Get these out of here. Nice solid box. Where's 1 and 2? Go. Season 1. And what a lot of people really don't know, Sherman Hemsley was actually working on Broadway when they discovered him doing this. And he is considerably younger than Isabel Sanford. And this show was somewhat groundbreaking. It was groundbreaking. I believe this is another Norman Lear. This was kind of like the anti All in the Family show. We have Archie Bunker with this kind of right-leaning, narrow-minded, somewhat racist. And I believe Isabel Sanford started out as a maid or something. I don't know if it's Isabel Sanford or Michael Evans. One of them appeared on All in the Family. So this The Jeffersons is somewhat of a spin-off of All in the Family. See where we at? 6, 7. See 6, 7. Yeah, 6, 7. No, 7, 8. Excuse me. We just hit 5, 6. And this is kind of a huge change, especially when you had shows like Good Times, where you had black people pretty much in the projects, kind of struggling. This was an entrepreneur, Sherman Hemsley, George Jefferson, who was an owner of a dry cleaning business, a very successful dry cleaning business, and very outspoken and very pro-black, which you didn't see a lot on television at that time. So that's, in my opinion, what made this such a successful show. The Jeffersons. And they have a nice little booklet here. I love when they do the show. It sometimes really nails it with the little extras. Roxy Roker. You got Billy D. And they have the seasons breakdowns here. The episode breakdowns. That's Michael Evans right there. They actually changed, which is so weird. I forgot which season. They actually had another Lionel play, completely different. They didn't even look like that Lionel, a completely different Lionel. So, number 9, my top 10 comedies. Moving on up, The Jeffersons. My number 8 comedy television series, Soap, an American television series that originally ran ABC from September 13th to 1977 until April 20th, 1981. This was supposed to be a parody on the daytime soap opera shows. This starred Ray Allen, Jimmy Bale, Rebecca Balding, Roscoe Lee Brown, John Breyer, Diana Canova, Billy Crystal, Catherine Damon, Nancy Dolman, Michelle Durrell, Robert Guillaume, Catherine Hellman, and a bunch of other people. This another groundbreaking show. And I hear people say comedy's too politically correct. And to a certain extent, I kind of understand that. This was, especially for its time, extremely politically incorrect. Somehow Soap was able to do it, and I didn't realize I've never opened this up. I've had this probably longer than my son's been alive and haven't opened this up. There's a way to do comedy without necessarily offending people and still be somewhat politically, I don't want to say politically correct, but it's a way to actually do comedy and not be offensive. Soap kind of walked that fine line from everything to having a black butler with a crazy ex-military guy. And I said, sing me a song, boy. And the mom was like, we don't call them boys anymore. It's like, well, what do we call them, boogies? So that kind of humor wouldn't necessarily fly, though, but the humor was so intelligent. They had such great actors such as Bob Guillaume, who went on to do his own show, Benson, Richard Mulligan, Billy Crystal. They were able to pull it off and not necessarily be offensive. Billy Crystal played this gay guy. His brother was like an Italian mobster. This is the second season right here. And just some of the cast people that have been through the show. Guillaume, Billy Crystal. She actually went to that show with Tony Danza. And Who's the Boss? Richard Mulligan. This guy was weird. He was a ventriloquist. He always walked around with the dummy. So very offbeat, funny show. Again, based on basic television shows, soap operas. And each episode ended in this great cliffhanger. So you were just anticipating the next show. And what I hated, though, the last season ended on a cliffhanger and they never had any closure to it, though. I wish they could have had some kind of reunion show or one last either season or maybe like a movie to finish things up. It's the 4th season. So my number 8 out of the top 10 comedy television shows, classic stuff, Soap. Number 8, Martin, another American television sitcom that aired for 5 seasons on Fox from August 27th, 1992 to May 1st to 1997, starring Martin Lawrence, Tisha Campbell, Carl Anthony, who used to play on The Cosby Show, Carl Anthony Payne, Thomas Michael Ford, who ended up passing, Tashina Arnold, Garrett Morris, you might know him from the original cast of Saturday Night Live, and John Grease. This was part of my Thursday lineup back in the 90s when I was much younger and single man, before I used to go out to the clubs on Thursday, kick it off with Martin. Then after that, you'd have Living Single. Oh my God, I have another one of these I haven't opened up yet. Let me get Wesley. Kick it off with Martin. Living Single. Then you have New York Undercover. I hit the club for a couple hours. Then try to make it home at a relatively decent hour, so I wouldn't be late for work, or at least too hungover from work. Back when I used to drink too. But this, I've heard various things about this show, both good and bad. Some say Martin was kind of perpetuating the buffoonery, kind of the step and fetch aspect of black comedy, but I thought it was really creative. I saw a lot of the good in the show. He had a very healthy relationship with Gina, had a steady job, and just overall very creative show. He was very good at doing different characters, playing his mother, I can't think of his name. You got Shanae, Tyrone for the player from the Himalayas. The security guard. So just a whole host of characters. This is season 3. Another one I didn't open up. Season 4. And the final season. And I think I forgot to mention the labels of the other one. I didn't open this one either. The 5th and final season. One of my favorite seasons, one of my favorite episodes, is when Martin proposed to Gina, and they had Brian McKnight, even though his name is kind of dirt right now, and on the internet though. But he had Brian McKnight sing for Gina, so I thought that was one of the more memorable episodes. If I can get you back in here. And this is Martin, and it's actually an HBO release. So Martin, HBO release. Just because I forgot to mention this. Living Color, Warner Brothers. Jeffersons, originally Sony, now distributed by Shout Factory. Soap, TriStar. Number 6, Sanford and Son, American sitcom television series that aired on NBC from January 14th, 1972. January 14th, 1972 to March 25th, 1977, based on the British sitcom Steptoe and Son, which initially aired on BBC One in the United Kingdom from 62 to 64. Starred Red Fox and Damon Wilson. Theme song by Quincy Jones. Opening theme song, The Street Beater. Fabulous show. I believe for the first couple seasons, Paul Mooney and I believe Richard Pryor, I think, wrote some of the episodes for the first couple seasons. Not a beautiful set, unfortunately. They just have it like this, so I would love to see a Blu-ray of this, an upgrade on the sound and visuals for this. I don't know how likely that would be. But this classic, they have all the individual seasons here. So my number 6 pick, Sanford and Son, which also spawned 3 spinoffs, which didn't do too well. You had Sanford Arms, and Grady. So I don't think any of these lasted more than one season. Sanford might have lasted 2 seasons, 26 episodes. So it might have just only been one season. Sanford and Son. My number 5 pick, American satirical sitcom created by Michael Hurwitz. It aired on Fox for 3 seasons from November 2nd, 2023 to February 10th, 2026, followed by 2 seasons on Netflix. Season 4 being released in 2013 and Season 5 being released in 2018 and 2019. Starring Jason Bateman, Portia de Rossi, Will Arnett, Michael Cera, Ala Shawkat, Tony Hale, David Cross, Jeffrey Tambor, and Jessica Walter. And I only have the first 3 seasons. I don't have the 2 that are on Netflix. Really clever, quirky show, deadpan humor. I've been watching Jason Bateman since he was a teenager, I think, on Hogan's Place. Watching Sister Justine Bateman on show with Michael J. Fox. I can't think of the name of that show right now. It's drawing a blank. This is season 2. I want to say Family Matters. That's not it. That's season 2. And I haven't even really checked to see if the Netflix 4th and 5th season are available on physical copy. I have to take a look. Season 3, Arrested Development, very funny show. You had guest appearances by people like Carl Weathers, Ron Howard. So, very funny show. Number 3, Arrested Development. Family Ties. That's the Michael J. show I was thinking of, Family Ties. Number 4, The Boondocks, an American animated sitcom created by Aaron Magruder for Cartoon Network's late night programming. This series premiered on November 6, 2005 and lasted 4 seasons. You have the voices of Regina King, the late John Witherspoon, Gary Anderson Williams, Cedric Yarbrough, Jill Talley. This was such a smart, I'm trying to think of the right words here. Smart, very socially conscious show. You had amazing vocals in here. You had amazing writers, Aaron Magruder. They dealt with everything from R. Kelly to reparations to marijuana to auto-tune. Has some amazing guest vocals such as Cat Williams. I love that episode. He played a pimp named Slickback. It's like Mr. Slickback is like, no, it's a pimp named Slickback. You say it all together like a Tribe Called Quest. So just a hilarious show. First 2 seasons, I believe, were written by Aaron Magruder. I believe during the 3rd season, they were having some issues either with Cartoon Network or whomever. And I don't know if he wrote the last 2 seasons, but you can definitely tell in just the tone, the tenor, and just the overall content that he wasn't really a part of the show. And they've actually had murmurs about him maybe coming back, doing another season, maybe doing a movie, possibly even doing a live action Boondocks. I'm not sure how that will go over. They've actually talked about doing just an Uncle Ruckus show. And I've seen a lot of Uncle Ruckuses been popping up in the media in the past few years. And if you watch the Boondocks, you know what I'm talking about. And that's in real life, not just on TV. So again, brilliantly written show, very funny, very relevant for the times. A lot of their content that they used. I hope that Aaron Magruder does something else of this caliber. Number 4, top 10 television comedies, The Boondocks. My number 3, Chappelle Show, American sketch comedy television series created by Dave Chappelle and Neil Brennan. I believe Neil Brennan has another stand-up, the second stand-up on Netflix. The show premiered January 22nd, 2023 on Comedy Central. The show ran for 2 seasons, and an abbreviated 3rd season of 3 episodes aired in 2006, compiled of previous unreleased sketches, starring Dave Chappelle, Charlie Murphy, Donnell Rawlings, Paul Mooney. Again, I remember my first episode of Chappelle's Show. My homeboy called me up and was like, dude, turn to such and such a channel. You gotta watch this. You gotta watch this. The premise: a black, blind, white supremacist who hates black people. That whole concept just kind of blew my mind. And the sketches just kept coming. With Charlie Murphy and his stories with I'm Rick James, bitch. That was the shit back in the day. Everybody was saying that. The guest, the hip-hop guest, his impersonations, just everything. This was equivalent to probably, I'd say even better than the first couple seasons of Saturday Night Live. Possibly better than In Living Color. Again, you got Paul Mooney. If you know who Paul Mooney is, he was a writer for Richard Pryor. He also wrote for In Living Color. He did his own stand-up. Just an amazing comedian, amazing writer, very in tune with what's going on in society. His big thing was basically race and how he would essentially make fun of racism and the commonalities and differences between the different races, but essentially come to the same conclusion that we're all human, we're all part of the same race, really, the human race. So, and this was the abbreviated show with the cutout ones. Not as great as the first 2 seasons, but this first season, fire. If you haven't seen Chappelle's Show, I think it's on Netflix, definitely check it out. Number 3 pick, Chappelle's Show. For my number 2 sitcom, we have In Living Color. In Living Color is another American sketch comedy television series that originally ran on Fox from April 15th, 1990 to May 19th, 1994. Keenen Ivory Wayans created, wrote, and starred in the program. The show was produced by Ivory Wayans Productions in association with 20th Century Fox and was taped at Stage 7 at the Fox television series. And you just had a plethora of stars. Jim Carrey, Tommy Davidson, Kim Wayans, David Alan Grier. Later on, you had Jamie Foxx, Marlon Wayans, Emery Johnson, Mark Wilmore had a season, which I think he eventually had his own little show that lasted 1 series. This is the first season. And one of the reasons why I chose In Living Color, because it was so monumental in sketch comedy. And of course, I grew up on sketch comedy, stuff like the Carol Burnett Show, which is really kind of a variety show, which was a kind of a throwback to the vaudeville days. But grew up watching sketch comedy, In Living Color. Before that, you had Saturday Night Live. You had shows like Friday. But what was monumental, and this is the second season, about In Living Color, This show was so strong and so powerful that I forgot what year it was, the Super Bowl, for their halftime show, people turned away from the Super Bowl just to watch In Living Color. And that was one of the reasons why you have these big Super Bowl halftime shows. It was one to combat the huge ratings they lost in that halftime show from In Living Color. So that's how powerful this show was. This is season 2. Plus you had amazing writers, especially on the first couple seasons, and you have Jamie Foxx here. You had Paul Mooney. Paul Mooney was the writer for, I hate these double-sided discs, I hate them. You had Paul Mooney, who was a writer for Richard Pryor, who ended up writing for Chappelle's Show. And of course you had Keenan Ivory Wayans writing. And the first 2 seasons were probably the most powerful. I think the last 2 seasons, I believe Keenan was having problems with Fox and all that, and the network, and they're pretty much censoring a lot of his show, a lot of his material. So I believe the last 2 seasons he didn't even write, and it kind of shows with some of the performances. And I don't think you saw Keenan last season. You see Damon, Kim, David Allen, Jim Carrey, David Allen Greer, Jamie Foxx. Is that Wentworth? That's not Wentworth. I forgot her name. This is season 4. They're still doing the flip disc there, which I hate. That's Marlon. That's not Marlon. That's the other one. I can't think of his name right now. Sean. That's Sean Wayans. And actually, because of In Living Color, you had the Wayans brothers, Sean and Marlon. They came out with their own show. I can't even think of the name of that right now. We're brothers, we're happy, and we're singing, and we're colored. Give me a high five. I can't think of that name of that show. This is the 5th season. You got Biz Markie on there. Whitmore, I think, who eventually had his own little show. And you even have Chris Rock. He might have been on the last season. And this is all 20th Century Fox. My season 2 of sitcoms. This is my second pick. In Living Color. And I must be having a brain fart. The name of the show with Marlon and Damon, the Wayans Brothers Show. And my number 1 pick, we have The Cosby Show. Despite your feelings about Bill Cosby, this is probably one of the most monumental shows in television. The Cosby Show is the American television sitcom created with Ed Weinberger and Michael J. Lessin, starring Bill Cosby, that aired on NBC from September 20th, 1984 to April 30th, 1992, with a total of 201 half-hour episodes spanning 8 seasons. And this is such a monumental show because at this time you'd never had a show where you had 2 black professionals in a family setting, and it wasn't like Good Times, it wasn't like the Jeffersons, it was something completely different. And this is, again, you have the first 2 seasons, season 3 and season 4, season 5 and season 6, you have season 7, season 8. Of course, I don't have these on the shelves. Again, lack of space. But this show, in a sense, kind of saved network television. Network television is kind of like it is now back then, where people just really weren't tuning in. And The Cosby Show kind of saved NBC, and it pretty much spawned a spinoff with a different world. Basically, you have college students attending a historically black college university, Hillman. So just an amazing show, star-studded cast. Some of the people that were starring in the show, you have Bill Cosby, the beautiful Felicia Rashad, Sabrina LeBeau, Jeffrey Owens, Lisa Bonet, Joseph C. Phillips, Malcolm Jamal Warner, Tempest Bledsoe, Keisha Knight Pulliam, Raymond Simone, and Eric Alexander, who eventually starred in Living Single. So these are my top 10 sitcoms. If you made this far in the video, smash the like. Give me the big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, what's wrong with you? Subscribe. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone be safe. Deuces. And by the way, Mill Creek.